Wild stuff the way it unfolded. Tim, you got a chance to make your team picks. Elfie, what about you?
Well, I agree with Tim. The top six, in my mind, Ray, Chow, Maloney, White, Dancher, and Dawes. I would like to see Dominique Dawes on this team. I think she's proven it to Bella Caroli. She's hit her routines. The alternate, who knows, it could go to Beckerman or even Atler.
Now, this would be no surprise to anyone that the ego of Bella Caroli factors in here at some point. We have all said amongst ourselves that if Vanessa Atler had been handed over to Billy Caroli at some point, he would have been the one to fix her, to mold her. Now, he's going to have this team. After here, they're going to fly out, be at his ranch for 10 days starting Wednesday. Then they'll be there for a week and a half and begin to move west toward the Olympics. Is it a rational thought for him that he could take this Vanessa Atler and somehow get her straight?
It's a possibility. There's no question about it. It's a possibility. He recognizes her talent. He said to me yesterday that she might be the most talented athlete he's ever seen. Now, I said that years ago, and I still believe it, but you have to also look a little bit at performance. And I'm sorry, she's a wonderful athlete, but she did not perform wonderfully, especially here today. By my book, she went 0 for 4. Almost did one of the best beam routines of her life, but then right at the end, once again, and then on floor exercise, finally the Vanessa Atler that we could see. Last tumbling pass gets a little funky, bends her knees in the air, doesn't finish the triple full. And the biggest problem is it wasn't a physical mistake. That's not what happened. What happened was she was finishing her routine too early in her head. She thought it was all over, and she got to finish her exercises.
Now, Elfie, I know this would never happen to you, but let's say you were having Vanessa's problems. Could you go someplace for 10 days with a guru like him and get straightened out?
Well, I'm sure if anyone can do it, it's Bella Caroli, but we have to realize that this was all about pressure and competition. She didn't prove herself in the heat of the moment. And how do you take a chance with an athlete like Vanessa Atler at the Olympic Games? Do you just expect her to do it then? She hasn't done it.
All right, let's explain one thing. 6-5-4. What exactly does that mean, Tim?
6 members are the Olympic team. The alternates are not recognized by the IOC as Olympians. So there are 6 Olympic team members. 5 athletes go up on each event. From those 5 athletes, the USA needs 4 scores on each apparatus. So if you take a look at the people who look to be locks, that means that Morgan White, she's going to be going. And that means that there's only 5 vaulters, and you can't use Morgan White. You just don't want to go into the Olympic Games with a gymnast that has not scored a 9.0 average on an event over 4 meets.
Okay, so what does that mean then? You have to fill that hole with somebody else. Does someone like a Shannon Miller stand a shot here of getting one of those 2 alternate spots? Because obviously in that conversation we had with her and her coach Steve Nuno, she still harbors some belief that that's possible.
Well, it's possible. I mean, anything's possible. I go back to what Bella Caroli said. At this point, I'm sorry to say this in a lot of ways, but if they choose Shannon Miller, they are choosing her because of the leadership that she will bring to this team and the status that she helps elevate the Americans to. It's not because of her performance, because she hasn't proved that.
But if Bella sticks to her word, his word, then he will not take an injured athlete.
The plan was 5 minutes in that room. We're coming up on 9 minutes with Bella Caroli. Again, Tracy Talavera, the former USA gymnast, Shari Knight-Hunter, and Marilyn Cross, all going at it right now. Now, we're scheduled to sign off here on NBC after the team is announced, and right after at NBCOlympics.com, you can chat live with Elfie Schlegel and Tim Daggett. Beth Ruyak will be working the floor and the locker rooms backstage, and you'll be able to read all those interviews, plus post your own opinions about what you've seen and what about the team that was selected. That's all at NBCOlympics.com on the World Wide Web. Still no movement. The door remains closed. What do you think is the real sticking point here, Tim? Is it the 5th and 6th spots, or is it the alternates?
No, I do not think that it's going to be the alternates. They are trying to come up with what will produce the best potential team score. And I guarantee you, the same philosophical discussion that we're having out here on the floor is occurring in that back room. They are saying that, look at this young lady, Vanessa Atler. Yes, she didn't prove it today. She can get a 9.6 for us on vaulting. Our next lowest vault score is somewhere around a 9.2. That one event alone gives us 4/10. Do we throw that away? It's a tough call.
Imagine these coaches now. There's Steve Rybacki in the middle there with Mary Lee Tracy. I mean, Mary Lee at one point came to the national championships with Dominique Moceanu, Morgan White, Alyssa Beckerman, feeling really good. Maybe even about 3 of her athletes. Then Dominique Moceanu gets hurt and pulls out. Morgan White struggles a little bit. Alyssa Beckerman struggles a little bit. She went from 3 to none and now maybe 2. Her emotions are all over the place. Steve Penny from USA Gymnastics over there talking to Mark Young, Amy Chow's coach. Kelly Hill, she's smiling. It can't be bad news. Bill and Donna Strauss and Jack Carter from the Parkettes. They're Kristen Maloney's coaches. Now, we think that the announcement is forthcoming. Coming up on 11 minutes, the Fleet Center has gone quiet. Let's see.
Yes.
The door has not opened. Last night, for half an hour, this joint was jumping in anticipation of the announcement of the men's team. Now here come the women. Well, this is the entire team. Only those selected were supposed to go out onto the floor. So everybody's coming out. They look a little confused. Is this when they get the good and bad news? Let's find out.
Al, I don't know if you're hearing me, but Steve Penny just talked to the coaches and said that the coaches would be giving the team the news as to whether the athletes made the team or not. We were under the impression they'd be back in the locker room. A few of them have just walked out here, so there seems to be a little bit of confusion as to exactly what's going on. I did just talk a few moments ago to Vanessa Atler's coach, and I asked if Vanessa would be satisfied with being an alternate on this team. Valerie Lukin said that they had talked about it, and she does not want to do that if that's the choice. So we'll hear in a few moments. I'm going to throw it back to you, Al, because looks like they're getting together, but the committee has not come out of the room yet.
Well, here comes Bob Colarossi, the CEO of USA Gymnastics. Man, are the fortunes going to change here?
The 2000 Olympic team in alphabetical order is Amy Chow, Jamie Dancher, Dominique Dawes, Kristen Maloney, Elise Ray, and Morgan White. The alternate is Alyssa Beckerman.
Congratulations. Well done. Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out.
Beth Rybacki is going to get her Olympics. Jamie Dancher came through. Morgan White. I'm a little surprised we only heard one alternate's name. We were told there were going to be 2.
Bella told me that they would like to name 2 minutes before the meet began, and there is the alternate, Alyssa Beckerman, right there.
She is going to Sydney. Shannon Miller may be dealing with that thought that she tried to postpone. Dominique Dawes pulled it off. 3rd Olympics for her. It's about to be party time at the Fleet Center. We'll be back on NBC in a moment.
Okay.